Also, I mean, you mentioned it was Eddie Murphy's debut in 48 Hours.
Mhm.
So a movie that I loved that year from Robin Williams, The World According to Garp.
I love The World According to Garp.
Yes.
And we name check it. We don't really get into it, but boy, I love that movie. And
Right?
that's a great example of a movie from 82 that no one talks about. That's great. And it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
George Roy Hill who did Butch Cassidy and the Son of His Kid and The Sting. And it's like, I don't get that, and Robin Williams is in it, John Lithgow, everybody's great in it. John Lithgow is particularly great in it. And that, it's funny. If you said, I'm supposed to be talking about how great the documentary is, which it is, but it's like, where do you think you fell down? Where do you think you didn't do? Like, not doing more on Garp? I wish we had done more on Garp. It deserved it. It deserves it to get more people to watch it.
Agreed. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater, and I was like, I was a huge Robin Williams fan. I knew nothing about Garp at the time, but I read after I saw the movie. I read the book. I suddenly became a John Irving fan. I said books. So I'm very thankful to Robin Williams. I still think that's one of his best.
Oh,
films.
I do too. That and like Dead Poets and Good Morning Vietnam are my favorites. I mean, everybody talks about Miss Doubtfire. I'm like,
No, I wouldn't trust the kids at all. Go ahead. I was going to mention one more comedian.
Go.
Which you touched on, which Steve Martin's Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which takes on those old style movies.
Totally.
That's kind of a fun movie.
And it's really in the pre-CG, digital video effects era, it's pretty amazing what they did. For people who are listening who don't know, this is a Steve Martin comedy where he plays a gumshoe. It's shot in black and white, and it's a comedy, but he integrates himself into scenes from classic films with legendary stars. So suddenly he's in a scene with Double Indemnity talking to Barbara Stanwyck, or he's in Out of the Past talking to Robert Mitchum, or whatever. And it's amazing the way they did it. It's flawless. I mean, it's Carl Reiner directing, and cleaning woman, clean. It's very funny because this is the wild and crazy man era of Steve Martin, but it also is just technically a very impressive movie. It's extremely well done, and they even have a score by Miklos Rozsa, who did so many of those classic movie scores. It's really impressive. I like it quite a bit too.
I think it's why I'm a film noir fan to this day, is because when I saw that film back when I was 16, I didn't know any of these films. But now I do. Now, like years later, like, oh yeah, it's.
I like it a lot more now than I did at the time.
Right.
To be honest.
Exactly. Right. Me too. Yeah. Same for the same reason, just because you kind of recognize, these things that they were doing.
It's that awesome cast. It's like, oh my God, because obviously it's all these great people from the 30s and the 40s. I mean, Bogart and everything. And it's like, it's really audacious. I'm amazed that nobody has really tried to do anything like that, because it'd be so much easier to do something like that now than then, with digital, much easier.
We'll try and pay for the use of the footage. That's
yeah.